That's one alarm too many. The mission's over.
Video game magazines were such a weird time of my life. It was before the internet was really a commodity like it is nowadays, and Google existed, but SEO wasn't really a thing, so good luck trying to find anything unless you specifically knew what you were looking for. So, for young nerds like myself, who didn't even really get a DSL connection until they were in the 4th grade, the only way that you really found out about new games were with gaming magazines. So think of Electronic Gaming Monthly, which was my choice. But there are others like Nintendo Power, where you could read articles and previews and see screenshots and all kinds of cool stuff about upcoming games. The only other way really to learn about games was if you, saw a poster in Walmart or something while you were in the game section playing demos while the rest of your family shopped, because shopping's boring and you have ADHD and you need something to entertain yourself, and oh my god, look, I can play Mario Sunshine, dude, I'm gonna go do that for like an hour. Another big one was school. Kids would talk all the time about other games that they've heard, or they would be sociopathic little monsters and just lie about games that they think that they've heard that sound cool, but they're just like, haha, wouldn't it be cool if so Pokemon Fire Red came out and then there's Pokemon Leaf Green. Did you hear that did you hear that they're making a Pokemon Water Blue? Just between you and me, right? Yeah, I know it sounds kind of weird, but that was really just how you heard about games. You talked to your friends and heard what they heard about, or you talked to your friends about what you heard about from magazines or ads or the TV, this thing, commercials. Anyway, my point being, late 90s, early 2000s, there really wasn't just free flow of information unless somebody else gave you that information. And somebody else giving me the information was how I found out about Splinter Cell. Boy, that image of Sam being pressed up against the fence, and then there's just the light bleeds and the god rays and the shadows, and just, oh my god, to this day it's still just burned in my memory. It's perfect. Of course, being a young impressionable lad who was used to this, and then I saw this, was holy shit, games can look like that? What the fuck? I wanted an Xbox so bad as a kid. So bad. I can still taste how bad I wanted an Xbox as a kid. Anyway, I never got one because the Xbox had a reputation for violent video games. Can't really blame Microsoft for advertising Halo. I get it. I'm pissed off because I really wanted to play it, but anytime my mom went to go look anything marketing-wise, Halo was a shooting game, and I was in the 3rd grade, and of course back then it was oh my god, Columbine was 10 years ago, and Doom is a violent shooter, blah blah blah. Anyway, let's deep dive in. Let's see. Does this game that has been a fabled part of my childhood hold up after 20 years? My money's on no, but you never know.
Echelon got a positive ID on your target from the Morgue security cameras. A guy named Vyacheslav Glinko.
How do I find him?
By his license plate.
And if he's not with his car?
Then his driver will be. Grab him and make him talk. Don't be afraid to use force.
Who? Me?
The basic plot and gameplay experience is pretty straightforward. You play a field operative for a subsidiary of the NSA who sneaks in, does the dirty work, and gets out. You have a lot of toys at your disposal. The typical suppressed guns are there, of course, but you're highly discouraged from using them for direct combat. Instead, the use case is mainly for distractions, or for shooting out lights, or destroying traps from afar. Your real weapons are your stealth, allowing you to sneak up on guards and grab them from behind, drag them somewhere hidden, and knock them out. They are in your other gadgets like the under-the-door camera that lets you scope out the area before you infiltrate, or in your ancillary equipment like distraction cameras, which let you whistle to draw people nearby and release knockout gas, or taser rounds you can shoot to incapacitate a guard. I did say that stealth was a weapon, yeah. Well, it's this is a real stealth game, and on top of that, it's a stealth game from the very early 2000s, for better or worse. What I mean by that is that a lot of modern games kind of put up the guardrails when you do stealth and let you sneak around and do things you probably really shouldn't be able to do in real life for the sake of accessibility and, you know, fun. Yeah, no. This is a real stealth game. You get one pixel out of line and the game will be sure to punish you for it. Guards sometimes have insane audio range until they just don't. No, come over here. No, come over here. No, come over here. No, come over here. No, come over. Yeah, nah, he can't see me for sure.
That's one alarm too many. The mission's over.
The stealth at times can be really frustrating trying to wrap your head around it, as you have to balance both the sound you emit and the visibility you have, and combine that with the AI that at times is superhuman and at other times deafer and blinder than Helen Keller. I will say, when it all comes together, it's really magical, especially with how the game plays with lights and shadow, and tools like the thermal vision and night vision goggles giving you more ways to approach each and every situation you come across. Yo, I'm so fucking good at this game. I'd like to take a moment to also talk about the guns since we mentioned them earlier. You get two in the game, a suppressed pistol and a suppressed rifle. I think the pistol is supposed to be a 5.7, but it's been modified a little bit, potentially to avoid copyright and trademark issues, potentially for frame rate reasons. It's hard to tell. The rifle is modeled after the real-life F2000, but is referred to in-game as the SC2000. I'm sorry, I actually mean the SC20000. Even though those are, you know, one's much bigger than the other. Oh yeah, and they actually do mess up in the voiceover. They actually do still call it the F2000, so that's cool.
Just got word from our man inside. He says your F2000's in place. You can retrieve it in the storage room behind the generator backup.
Goody.
Both weapons are semi-auto, but the rifle is much more accurate when idle and holds 60 total rounds in 2 magazines, whereas the pistol only holds 40 rounds across 2 magazines. They're also really bad. It's for a good reason, I guess, to encourage you to stealth and not just shoot your way through everything, but there are better ways to force you to stealth than to make guns useless! Like how you aren't allowed to kill anybody in a few missions, such as the CIA infiltration mission in the Chinese embassy. There are obvious story reasons for not killing anybody during those 2 missions, which I hope would be obvious, but to spell it out, if the NSA killed some random people in the CIA when they were just working a triple shift because, oh my god, a terror attack just happened, that would look bad. And also, if the NSA just killed a whole bunch of diplomats to the Chinese embassy, that would look bad. But why make them useless on top of being useless? If every mission was pure stealth like that, or was a no-kill operation, that would be awesome from a game design standpoint, because it would really let you settle into the role of Sam Fisher as being a clandestine spook NSA operative who's really not supposed to be where he is and is doing things that he's not supposed to do. It really puts you into the character. Unfortunately, the game kind of gets into this pattern where stealth mission, Rambo mission, stealth mission, Rambo mission. You go from Rambo mission to incredibly strict, intense stealth section that's complete bull. Playing this game in 2023 is kind of a treat, both to the eyes and the brain. The shadow and lighting system is nuts, even to this day, with God rays and some really deep, inky black shadows, which you just really don't get these days anymore. The game runs on Unreal Engine and really does a lot with the limited hardware available to it. There's fairly high character counts on screen, environmental damage is extremely well done and fleshed out, and the world feels believable. You definitely can feel the memory constraints with how short each segment is between the checkpoints, but the pop-up to save the checkpoints does a great job of hiding the fact that it's loading the next part of the BSP, and you may not even really notice at times that that's what the game is doing.
The animation styles can leave a little to be desired at times. A great example is Sam's sneaking while crouched. The animation looks like it's straight out of Tom and Jerry. But there are also other times where the animations are thought out and executed very well. Did you know that if you are on a ladder, Sam will shake his head extremely hard down in order to force the goggles onto his face since he doesn't have a free hand? Another nice attention to detail, the F2000 will also eject shell casings only when reloading. The idea being that Sam, as a secret operative, doesn't want to leave behind any trace he was there. So the gun stores the shell casings until Sam is at a point where he can safely expel them and deal with them. These kind of lore details are still fairly rare in modern games, so it's a really nice touch to see them here, and it shows the love the team has for their source material. For this recording session, I actually played this on my original Xbox. The Xbox holds its own pretty well in terms of frame rate. It appears to lock to 30, and the only time I really noticed it drop below that is when I'm using the night vision goggles in some areas of some levels. If I had to guess, I'd say the game is using a double buffer VSync implementation, which is why the drops just feel as bad as they do, but overall they're fairly rare. I can probably count on less than 10 fingers the number of times that's happened. Now, to be fair, I haven't done any frame rate analysis or investigations, so I could be totally off base here, but playing the game on my CRT TV, it felt fantastic, and as a result, I honestly have no desire to investigate the performance, for whatever that's worth. Loading times in between BSP swaps are quick as levels are properly chunked out for quick streaming into RAM. The only really bad, long load times are when initially loading a level, whether resuming after a restart or when reaching a new chapter. They usually hover around a minute or two when loading from disk, then it's even quicker when loading from the HD if you have a modded Xbox. Speaking of the BSPs, there's an odd amount of single pixel floating polygon ledges that were annoying as they stood out far enough away because that would bonk my head on. There's one time I was able to abuse them and run around the rooftop of a level to get to another part of the level faster than I should have been able to, so that was fun. They're relatively minor and they're not really unique to this game, even nowadays, but they do kind of stand out, especially the one at the beginning that was incredibly frustrating trying to jump up onto the ledge properly.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about on the tech front. Weird for me, I know. I love to talk about the tech, but I mean, like, for real, like, I played the game and for what it's worth, the tech just kind of gets out of the way and lets the game be solid. Sure, there's some problems, but they're not about the tech. The tech is very solid, which leads me to... Oh boy, I get to talk about the game design now, don't I?
Now you see, game design. This section is going to be a little bit looser. I figured I might as well start with the things that really stood out to me, either because they are annoying or because I thought it was really interesting, and then we'll get to the haha funny stuff. Fisher's design as a character is done very well. The striking night vision goggle dots always being visible is downright iconic, if a bit silly, which is totally okay because the game itself doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just taken seriously enough. Sam is voiced by Michael Ironside, which I absolutely approve of, as he is an actor that rides that line between serious and goofy so well.
Good Lord, Fisher. That's General Kong Ferrong.
Good Lord. Who's that?
He was the...
The level design is alright, nothing exceptionally noteworthy. It's a little frustrating at times trying to figure out what environmental hit you're supposed to get, but it's nothing really impressive or frustrating either way. There's some minor annoyances I have with the AI programming, as it seems like the dev programmed in per area awareness levels per AI, meaning that one segment might have like a guard with Hawkeyes down a hallway that hears your heartbeat through 15 walls. And there's some parts of the game where you round the corner and in the next room Sam can just kind of torque in front of the guards and they just don't care.
I see something.
A fun little sandbox quirk I noticed, there's actually the possibility for AI to shoot you during cutscenes. This happened to me here, and I was feeling the controller vibrate during the cutscene, and you can kind of hear Fisher grunt. When I regain control, you can clearly see less health. It's kind of funny.
And now it's time for the silly stuff that I really wanted to mention, and I just couldn't make it fit in the script. Ready for some goofs.
I actually got stuck by the AI one time because he tried to move to get me through a door, but that door opened his way, and his AI wasn't allowing him to move. So I actually ended up having to reload the level. It was a really fun staring contest. I love the fact that in my first video back, I get to use Door Stuck. Chris Purdell had a small guest role actually in this level too. It's in a good way. It was a little weird area, but it's in a good way. He was the voice of Jerry in Rick and Morty, and he also voices Cyril in Archer. So it's kind of funny, knowing now, 20 years later, 10 years later, what he's gone on to do, and just hearing him do a bit role here. It was kind of okay, I see where this is going. There was that one time I shot a camera out from a gun, and I expected it to thought my gun was pointing through the tarp, and thought it would just shoot through that. But instead it just immediately hit the mesh of the tarp and just froze in midair. Thank God I wasn't discovered. But bruh. This is a very anticlimactic countdown. It's built up as oh my God, there's they're gonna touch there's a gas pipe and blah blah blah, and oh my God, it's gonna be massive and people are gonna die, and then it blows up and you're just oh, okay. I think somebody sneezed. Oh, this one actually offended me personally. Okay, so the devs forgot to constrain one of the aspect ratios. And it's really funny because they get it right the first time in the zoomed out view on your PDF, but then you click on it to blow it up, and they fucked up the aspect ratio. They constrained it on the wrong axis, and it squishes it, and it looks so bad. I don't know how this made it through QA. Yes, I'm a pedantic asshole, but my God, this is so annoying. How did nobody notice this? The you being detected alarm noise is the same stock sound as the nuke from Modern Warfare 2, which set off all kinds of Pavlovian emotions in my Ooga Booga caveman brain the first time I heard it.
That's one alarm too many. The mission's over.
Same thing with the Doom door noise being used for this turret in this section. And for all you music nerds out there, I love the fact that they use the Amen break as the drum beat whenever you are discovered. If you're not familiar with the Amen break, it is one of the most famous and sampled drum beats of all time. You probably know about it from shows such as The Powerpuff Girls. I'm not going to actually play the clip or do anything because I will get yeeted, but I'm showing you this picture and I know you can hear it in your head. Also, I just want to point out that this one dancing shadow broke my brain for 5 minutes. I had to put the controller down and was laughing uncontrollably. Me. My son looked at me like I'm stupid and he thought I was going crazy. And then I put the GIF up, and he also started laughing uncontrollably. I'm sorry. I have brain damage. I want to know what they told Michael Ironside in the booth for him to choose to make these noises when he heals. It's horny and I don't like it.
Well, if I'm being honest with y'all, I can't exactly say that last game was worth 20 years of hype and built up expectations, but it was a fun, annoying at times, fun experience. Wouldn't really call this my holy grail, especially after everything else was involved, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a holy grail. 20 years didn't exactly ruin the game. The game ruined the game. That's the important part. Wow, can I just say how much I am really happy about the fact that I now own an original Xbox? This is so cool. We're gonna do a lot more fun stuff with this. I'm very excited. I guess this is it. JamesAtGames is back, at least for one more season. We're putting a lot of effort into it. We're doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff to make this work. Don't mind me. I'm just going to pick another video to play real quick. Do that one, sure. Yeah, we're putting a lot of effort behind the scenes. With any luck, by the time that this one actually goes live, there will be a second one already fully completed, and then we're already in the hopefully editing phase of the third one. JamesAtGames, Season 4. I don't really want to go into the production side of things and talk about the schedule. Every time I do that, I get fucked, and I don't do things, and things get bad. So I'm not going to talk about how many episodes I have planned. I'm not going to talk about what I have planned. I'm just going to say that we're back, and we're just going to see where this ride takes us. Hopefully it goes somewhere fun. If not, this video was fun to make. It was really good to be back in the throw of making JamesAtGames videos again. This set sucks my ass, and I hate this, but this was already a huge step up, I think, from my previous sets. Sometimes. It's complicated. Life is weird. It will get better. But thank y'all for sticking out with me, and I do really appreciate everything. And let's just see what the future holds, and let's make 2024 the year of JamesAtGames. Love y'all. That was super awkward. Gonna keep it in though.